Game number one, the scene, the Boston Garden, the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics with a patented break. They kick it off of the baseline to Larry Bird. He reverses it in for 2 of his 27 points. The Celtics off the mark very effectively. They led by 8 points at halftime. But the Sixers started to come back. Maurice cheats on this outlet pass to the doctor, Julius Erving, and Erving skies takes it in for 2 of his game-high 29 points. One of the real keys to this intense series is in the middle. Will Darryl Dawkins be able to play consistently for the Sixers? He did on this play. The doctor misses. Dawkins follows for 2 of his 23 points. He had 10 rebounds in the game. But another facet of this first game that really helped the Sixers was their bench play, and in particular, the veteran Henry Bibby. Bibby came off the bench to score 17 points, 10 of those coming in the early going when the Sixers were struggling. Watch Bibby here, number 14, less than a minute to go. He will shake loose from Archibald. He'll pop in one from 15 feet away, and the Sixers win it 96-93. Game number 2 between the Celtics and the Sixers in the Boston Garden today.
The NBA on CBS. Today's playoff game is sponsored by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Old Spice Stick Deodorant for 24-hour deodorant protection and that great Old Spice scent. And by Pentax, makers of the new 35mm ME Super Camera.
Welcome to the Boston Garden, game number 2, the Eastern Conference Finals. As the Boston Celtics playing host to the Philadelphia 76ers, the first game won by the Boston Celtics Friday night, 96-93. It's a sellout crowd once again. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, and welcoming back to the CBS broadcast crew, Rick Barry, who this year won his 6th free throw championship of the NBA, 8 times in the NBA All-Star Game. Rick, you just went through a torrid series with the Boston Celtics. Were you stunned that they lost here Friday night against Philadelphia?
Well, I wasn't so much stunned by the loss, but by the way that they played, Gary. They virtually ran a basketball clinic against the Houston Rockets. They did everything to perfection. And in the first ball game, they did not have the intensity defensively. They were not overplaying the leads. I think they also allowed Philadelphia to get into a transition game, something they can ill afford to do because the doctor is just unstoppable in those situations. Dawkins was a big force inside. They didn't have a lot of help defensively when they got the ball into the middle. They did not shoot the ball well at all, and it was not the same Boston Celtic team that we played against.
Very physical game Friday night. A lot of people say, Rick, that the key is the middle. Dawkins against Cowens and Roby.
Well, there's no question that Darryl is a force when he is playing his game, but he has been rather inconsistent throughout the playoff series and throughout the season. If they can get the type of performance out of Darryl Dawkins that he gave in the second half when he really was a factor in close to the basket, muscling against Cowens and against Roby, well, then I think the Sixers have an excellent chance of beating the Celtics.
Rick, you know very well what playoff pressure means. Now, the Celtics only lost 6 games all year long here, and they beat Philadelphia all 3 games in the regular season. So this was not running true to form, but it is playoff time.
Well, I think that the Celtics will come back. They did not play a particularly good game, but yet they only lost by 3 points, and they are playing at home and they have the confidence.
Well, we had the opportunity before the start of the game to visit with both of the coaches. As you know, that was a very big win for Billy Cunningham, and I asked him just what adjustments he thought Boston would make.
Well, it's a very big game, well, for us as well as the Celtics. I feel that they're going to come out and apply a lot more pressure on us defensively in the backcourt. They're going to try and force the transition game that we were able to contain in the last one to get themselves running. I'm sure they feel that scoring 93 points in their own building, they can't be very satisfied, and they'll really try to build the score up.
Earlier, I asked Boston coach Bill Fitch if he had told Larry Bird to shoot more in the first game and if there were any special instructions for Larry in this game.
No, I didn't ask him to shoot so much more, except take the shot when he had it. He was hesitating in the first half. And if the shot is there, we want him to take it. I think that it's important that he occupies Dr. J at the other end of the court as much as he can if we're going to neutralize him at his end of the court.
Well, today I think I want to take the ball to Doctor a little bit more than I did last time, make him play a little bit defense instead of me playing defense all night on him. So I just feel I'd take the ball to the hole a little bit more and try to get some better shots.
Well, that's something I just have to deal with. I think what we talked about in the locker room mostly dealt with being defensive conscious. So I'll be defensive conscious right from the beginning of the game. It started in the locker room, really.
The doctor, and one thing, Rick Berry, that impressed me about Julius Erving was the leadership that he had Friday night. He took Darryl Dawkins under his arm one time when the going was really not in his favor and kind of turned things around. He's kind of a coach on the floor out there.
Well, the doctor is a class individual both on and off the court. The one thing I've always admired about Julius is the fact that he is a complete player. He will work on both ends of the court for you. He certainly is not noted for his defense, but his defense is getting better. It was the same way when I played. I think I got better as a defensive player as the years went on. You realize more and more the importance of playing tough defense and not allowing your man to have an easy time. The doctor realizes that. Of course, he's always been a great passer, great team player, and he really came through in the clutch for them. They were 10 points down in that third quarter. The doctor scored 10 of the next 16 points that Philadelphia scored on a 16-2 run, and that turned the game around.
Well, we'll be showing some of the highlights of game number 1 at halftime. Well, the men that'll be in charge of the game, Jack Madden on the right, Lee Jones on the far left, and the alternate official will be Dick Bavetta. As today we have our 18th straight sellout here in the Boston Garden, over 15,000 on hand. They were second in the NBA in attendance this year.
And with all the great Boston Celtic teams that they've had, Gary, the first game in this series, there were more people asking for press credentials than they've ever had before in any playoff game in Boston Celtic history.
Well, the teams that had the 2 best records in the regular season of play, as the Boston Celtics 61-21, and Philadelphia won 59 games. So you can imagine what kind of a storied playoff we're going to have. This has been a rich basketball tradition, one of the great rivalries, really, Rick, as you look back in NBA history.
Yes, it certainly has. This, along with the Celtics and the Knickerbockers, it goes a long way back and has some unbelievable players who have participated in these playoff series.
We have the introduction of our starting lineups. The PA man is Steve Holman, and let's pick him up. Julius will be introduced first. The doctor, he's averaged against Boston this year, Rick, 33 points a game.
Well, Julius, I think, is having his finest season in the NBA so far. And the reason for that, I think, is he's shooting that outside shot. Caldwell Jones, big factor in that Atlanta series.
He's the kind of guy that, well, he had, 18 rebounds, 20-some points. Here is Darryl Dawkins coming out. He had 23 points, 10 rebounds in game number 1. And Lionel Hollins, what an acquisition he was when they picked him up from Portland.
I think that's one of the key acquisitions for this team. Maurice Cheeks, of course, one of the best shooting guards in the league this year. But Lionel Hollins directs this ball club, and with the loss of Doug Collins, it was a very, very instrumental acquisition.
And Billy Cunningham, who took over in 1977. He's 36 years old, the head coach, and now, as you can imagine, the Boston Celtics are going to be introduced next. And this crowd here, they were tremendously enthusiastic Friday, but it just didn't get things done. Just couldn't turn this game around for the team in that third quarter. When you mentioned, Rick, they were outscored 16-2.
One thing, Gary, in that first ball game, this Celtic team responded when they got 8 points down in the fourth quarter. They really buckled down on their defense. They started making steals. Here you see Cornbread Maxwell coming out. A very key player all season long for them. We'll keep an eye on him closely in this ball game to see his work on the offensive boards.
And there he is, Larry Bird. He's averaged 23 points a game against Philadelphia this year. And here's Cowens. He's healthy now. That toe not bothering him.
Well, his enthusiasm has come back to the game. I think with the acquisition of Bird and the old Celtic tradition coming back, Cowens is back right in the swing of things.
And there's Tiny. He had 9 points in the game Friday night.
And Chris Ford, an unsung hero for the Celtics, probably playing his best basketball of his career. But Tiny Archibald could be a key in this game. He had perhaps the poorest game so far in the playoffs for him. He really did not do the job that Bill Fitch wanted. He was trying to force things into the middle. He made some bad passes, did not shoot the ball well, so we'll see how Tiny responds to this second game.
Well, there is that lineup, and you can see what some classic matchups we're going to have. Now, you'll have Jones on Maxwell, Erving and Bird going against each other. Of course, the big guys in the middle. Now, Cheeks and Archibald against each other. They kind of offset each other. Archibald had 9 points. Cheeks only had 5 Friday night.
It's not neither one of those players had a particularly good ball game, and I think that Tiny is going to come back. He's been a model of consistency for them throughout the year, and I'm sure he's not going to have 2 bad games in a row.
All right, and you can see some of the storied traditions here that the ghosts kind of run around the Boston Garden. 13 flags hanging over this edifice as the Celtics try to go for their 14th NBA title, down 1 game to none to the Philadelphia 76ers, and you can feel the excitement, the tension as game number 2 is ready to go. Jack Madden will put the ball up. And Cedric Maxwell rejected beautifully by the doctor. What a play by Julius Erving. Cheeks.
Maxwell a little slow getting up. He seems like he's okay. Got a basket hang.
And it's going to be goaltending. So it paid off to wait at the other end, but what a play by Erving.
Yes, it was a great defensive play by Julius, but a smart Celtic play. They saw the man open down the court, and they got it to him.
And it's all tied up 2-2. So you can see how quickly the Celtics get into their transition game. Lionel Hollins, Chris Ford on him. Hollins to the left-hander. And it's tough on the boards. Ford comes out of it. Chris Ford, the tiny Archibald, and a foul will go against Maurice Cheeks.
Great hustle that time by Chris Ford. Here he takes the break. He sees the man open. Nice bounce pass to tiny Archibald. Picks up Cedric Maxwell. There was the foul afterwards.
Let's go back to that first block, Rick.
And there's Julius with great timing. Up in the air contact there. They figured it was incidental because it came after the play had happened.
Boy, what a play by the doctor. Here's tiny Archibald at the free throw line. 3-2, Boston in the early going.
The funny thing about the last pass, as I was mentioning before we saw the other replay, Cedric Maxwell thought that Chris Ford threw the ball away, but the pass was actually to tiny Archibald, and it was a perfect pass.
Now you see Billy Cunningham. He's concerned about the pressure. He said he'd call timeout quickly if they can't handle this pressure.
It's something they did very effectively against us. They caused us to have 3 or 4 turnovers with 5-second violations.
You know, Billy said that we had 30 more turnovers in the regular season against this Boston team. That's what he wants to cut down. Hollins with Ford on him. We're just underway. 11:07 to go. First quarter. Darryl Dawkins up to the doctor. Nice pass by Dawkins.
That was a great play because Bird left Julius as Dawkins went up in the air, and he made a very good pass to Julius wide open.
4-4. Archibald doing some penetrating. That's what he does so well. Ford. And Caldwell Jones rips it down. Off to Hollins. Bird saves it in. Bird is all right. He's getting up to our left. He'll come back into your picture. There he is. What an effort by Larry Bird. And we have a loose ball foul. But Bird, he had a tough time getting out of the chairs over here on the sideline. In fact, I believe we have a fan shaken up who had Larry Bird in her lap for a while. 4-4. Here's Hollins off to Cheeks. Archibald, what a one-on-one meeting they're having. Beautiful play, but he can't get it to go. Here comes the Celtic fast break, but you can see a lot of red shirts getting back in a hurry. Bird. Boy, hitting the deck on that charge was Hollins. Erving. Ford. It's a little ragtag right now.
It really is. Both teams not handling the ball very well.
I guess that's some of that playoff pressure, Rick.
A little over-anxious.
Here's Ford trying to force it in. Maxwell can't hang on. Here's Ford to Cowens.
And that's how the Celtics are able to be so effective. They move the ball so beautifully. A man looks for the shot. If a defensive man comes, they get it to the open man. Good ball movement.
Boy, what intensity. This is just like Friday night's game. 6-4. Boston with the lead. Caldwell Jones, you see Maxwell. Maxwell's had a tough time with Jones this year. Now, wait a minute. Well, the foul on Caldwell. Should say Cedric Maxwell.
Calling a foul for Maxwell, putting his hand on Caldwell Jones out on the floor. A very unusual call. I don't really see where much was happening. Caldwell was not trying to make any type of a move. Hill, you'll see it right here. Good pressure by the Celtics. Again, they're starting to overplay more. Right there, he's just got his hand on him. It's incidental contact, actually.
I guess he's trying to establish control of this game early. There's Erving.
Julius definitely is shooting the ball better than he's ever shot it in his life, and that's what makes him so tough, because you have to play him for the shot, and he's so quick that now he has the ability to go around you.
Well, he's the healthiest he's ever been. He's taken all those braces off the knee, and his shooting is picked up. All tied up, 6-6. Archibald to try to give him the lead. And you can see Jones, how tough he is, but he's going to go back to Boston.
Larry Bird made a good play and forced the turnover. He guarded Cheeks very well on the outlet.
Tiny Archibald off to Bird, who had 27 points on Friday. Nice move on Dawkins. Jones got a hand on it. Maxwell follows, and boy, are they hitting the board.
Good offensive rebound by Maxwell. He's so tough. You have to concentrate on him all the time. One of the best offensive rebounders in the game for a forward.
The crowd thought there should have been goaltending on Caldwell Jones.
It was close.
Boston with the lead. And you don't think this is going to be some game before it's over. Erving off to Darryl Dawkins. They're going to let him have that shot. They'll let him have that all afternoon long. Maxwell saves it in.
That's what we talked about earlier. Dawkins should go underneath the basket where he belongs.
You can't let him shoot out there, and you can see Jones coming out to pick up Bird. Now we have a mismatch as Erving's underneath against Cowens.
That's a great pass, Gary. He just caught the Philadelphia defense napping. He had 3 Philadelphia defenders between he and Cowens. They weren't looking, and he floated the ball to Cowens.
And boy, he spotted that mismatch, didn't he, in a hurry? 10-6, 4-point lead for the Celtics. Cheeks off to the Doctor. Doctor on 4 occasions had over 30 points in the games in the regular season, and what a move that was.
That was just individual effort.
6 points for the Doctor. 10-8, Boston by 2.
They actually played good defense on Julius that time. They had help in the middle. He just made a very difficult shot.
Archibald trying to shake Cheeks. Cowens, that pass deflected. It'll be off of Boston, however.
Dave didn't see Larry Bird wide open on the baseline about 10 feet from the basket and elected to throw a very difficult pass and threw it away.
I tell you, the Celtics are going to have to get some scoring in that backcourt. Ford only had 7, Archibald 9 Friday night. That's only 16 points, well below the seasonal average.
In the third quarter, their guards were 0 for 10 from the floor.
That'll go back to Boston. That's the turnovers that concerns Billy C.
Now watch this play coming up right here. Hollins with the ball, had it in his hands, just didn't hold on to it.
That's 4 turnovers against the 76ers. Ford with Hollins on him. That is a 2-pointer. No, are they going to give him 3? They gave him only 2 on it.
Well, it looked like he was behind the line from here. Lee Jones, the official under the basket, closest to the play, wasn't even watching. Jack Madden gave the 2-point signal from way outside cross court.
Ford is second in the NBA in 3-point percentage. Here's Erving coming back, and Maxwell mistimed the jump, but he's been fouled. Caldwell Jones going up and making the foul.
I think both players were fooled by the bad bounce. We'll see it right here. The ball goes up. Both players. First it's Maxwell going up too soon, then it's Jones too soon. He got called for body contact. Not much of a contact, though, on that one.
With Rick Berry, I'm Gary Bender. We have 6:38 to go. First period. 12-8. Boston with the lead, and Rick, it's physical.
Well, it's going to be a physical contest when you get a player like Darryl Dawkins, Caldwell Jones, Dave Cowens, and of course we haven't seen Roby yet coming in. Here you see 2 key players in this game that might be Henry Bibby, who was excellent in the first game, a big factor, and Gerald Henderson on the left for the Celtics, who did not play particularly well in the first game.
And so the Celtics with a 4-point lead. During that break, Bill Fitch had a few words to say to Jack Madden, trying to hit the ball to Cowens, and you can see how quickly Caldwell Jones collapsed back in. Here comes the Doctor, that patented move of his. Maxwell. Cedric Maxwell to Bird. They're filling the lanes, and that is Boston at his best.
That's exactly right. Bird was wide open on the left side. I didn't think that Cedric had seen him, but he did. Got the ball to him. Bird wisely pulled up for the jump shot. The opening was not there to take it to the hole.
I would assume that's what Boston has to do to win this game, is get that ball off the boards and get down the floor.
That's what both teams really want to do.
Lionel Hollins forward on him. Nice fake by Lionel Hollins. 14-10. 4-point lead for the Celtics. Celtics losing Friday night 96-93 after leading by 8 at halftime, and then had a chance late in the game to tie it up, but they missed a 3-point play with 12 seconds to go. There's Caldwell Jones again. He's all over the place. Cheeks and Archibald, 2 of the quickest players in the NBA, going against each other in that guard position. Erving into Caldwell, 7-1 against the 6'9" Cowens. Dawkins.
Again, Dawkins got great position underneath. That's where Billy Cunningham wants to see him. Bill Fitch is not happy about things. He felt there should have been a 3-second violation on that call.
Well, he wasn't happy during that last time out, and he's continuing to voice his displeasure. Bill Fitch in his 4th playoff as a coach in the NBA. We're back at the 5:15 mark of the first quarter. There's a man the Sixers would like to have in the lineup.
They sure would. Doug Hollins, perhaps one of the finest guards to ever play the game of professional basketball without the ball in his hands. Constant motion.
He had crutches Friday night, but he shed those for this game, and he's really rooting them on. And here comes the doctor with one of those steals that he's so well known for.
Just a good individual effort by the Doc on defense. Cedric Maxwell not anticipating Doctor's move.
Well, he's 6th in the NBA in steals, and he's tied this game up 14-all. He has 8 points thus far. Larry Bird looking for someone, and as he did, Lee Jones will give him the basket, and the foul will go against Erving. Lee Jones on top of that play. A 3-point possibility.
Simple pick and roll play. Good fake. Doctor reaches in, catches him on the arm. Larry follows through with the shot. You notice on that play that Dave Cowens had gotten great position underneath the basket on Darryl Dawkins. If Larry had missed that shot, he had an excellent chance for an offensive rebound.
And the pushing that's going on in there between Dawkins. Later, it'll be Rick Roby that will come in and give Cowens a breather. It's a 3-point lead, 17-14 for Boston.
You can see that Philadelphia scouted against Boston in the Houston series because they're prepared for that pressure in the backcourt.
Hollins very quick and active. Cowens blocks it. Hollins recovers. And Maxwell will bring it down. Great effort on his part to Bird. Bird saves it. Cheeks on him. Look at that pass. You believe that? Here comes Ford.
Well, a big man, 6'9", throwing a pass like that is something else. I was shocked, to tell you the truth, Gary. I never thought Cedric could throw a pass like that.
Boy, that shows how team-oriented this Boston club is. They really do a lot of things well, and that's the reason they won more games than anybody in the regular season of play. Caldwell Jones, that lean-in hook that he likes. Larry Bird, Maxwell, Dawkins. Backs it down. Good hustle by Darryl Dawkins. Look at this big guy move, would you?
It's really good getting back on the defense that time.
There's Caldwell against Bird. The lean-in again. He'll try it again.
Good pass by the doctor. In fact, he caught Caldwell by surprise. He wasn't really waiting for that pass, and that may have been why he missed the first shot.
The Celtics with a 19-16 lead. Erving really respecting Larry Bird as he comes out, and now Tiny will set it up. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Bird moving well off the ball. That's a tough shot. Maxwell there. And he does a remarkable job, but they say travel to the ball.
Let's watch Larry Bird in this last play. Here he comes around the screen by Ford. Doc fights out with him, bumps him a little bit. He takes it to the hole, doesn't make it. Inside, Maxwell with the ball. They say he shuffled his feet. Couldn't really see it on the replay.
Shows you how hard Bird is having to work to get open. Hollins. Lionel Hollins, a left-handed jumper. He played on that NBA championship team in '77 with Portland, so really Philadelphia has a lot more playoff experience as a team than Boston. 19-18, 1-point lead. Ford. Cowens, boy, he's tough from there, but Dawkins comes away with it. You have to respect Cowens from that distance. Hollins, off to the doctor. Look at Bird. Bird said he was going to go out and play some defense, and he's staying with the big guy, and it's hard to do, and it paid dividends there.
Well, that time Doc tried to do a reverse dribble, spinning back to his right side, just lost control of it, but Larry had good position between his man and the basket.
Turnover just about equal. Boston was 6-5 against Philadelphia, and you're looking at Bobby Jones. He did not have a very good game Friday night. Not for Bobby Jones. He only had 6 points, but boy, he's played well in that Atlanta series.
He certainly did. Bobby took a lot of bad shots, I thought, in the game Friday night. Very unusual for him.
Ford to Archibald, who shakes cheeks for a moment, but not very long. Here's Bird, and Bird moving in, and we have a foul. We have a blocking foul. Bird working very, very hard away from the ball.
Here you see he catch the ball. Bobby Jones got himself caught by going for the steal. There he moves in and gets the foul. If he had not gone for the steal, he would have had much better defensive position. But Larry is looking to be much more offensive-minded early in this game.
And here is the man who was a real star Friday night, Henry Bibby, 17 points coming off the bench as Bird on the side. 21-18, Boston. Bird now with 7 points in the game. Larry Bird did not shoot the ball enough in the first half of game number 1, but he's going after it today, isn't he?
He certainly is.
There's a reach-in foul on Chris Ford. So Ford committing a foul. That's his first. Hollins will bring it in. Look at the pushing between these two guys. Two big giants. And they're going to have pushing off on Darryl Dawkins.
Well, that was an obvious foul. He just hooked his man.
That is
wrapped that big arm.
Huh, Rick? You've got to be tough.
I tell you what, Darryl Dawkins is one of the strongest individuals the game has ever seen. Cowens will back down from no one.
They're talking to each other as they went down to the other end of the floor. A little friendly conversation. There's Bird. He's open again.
Bird's really in the rhythm right now, and they should really keep looking for him. If he can pop open 18, 20 feet from the basket, he should look to shoot it because he's got the shot going for him now.
9 points for the rookie. 23-18. Henry Bibby, and he picks up where he left off Friday night. Boy, what a fine player to have in a playoff situation. Bibby, he played on that championship team of the Knicks.
A lot of people talk about Henry being a poor shooter, that he had a low percentage during the season, only 40%, but I think Henry's the type of player who can come into the game to cause tremendous problems, which he did in game number 1.
Now we have a timeout. 1:29 remaining in this first period. Boston with a 3-point lead. They led in the game Friday night also, led by 8.5, and then the third quarter turned around. You see number 44, Pete Maravich, getting ready to come in.
I think he's going to come in for Chris Ford, and Pete has done a good job in the short stints that he's had in the playoffs so far. And I talked to him during our series, and he said that he feels his knees are about 75, maybe 80%. And surprisingly, Gary, he said that if he were able to be on a championship team and win it this year, that he may retire. I hate to see that happen.
31 years of age, and we want to look ahead a little bit. We have a lot of playoff activity coming your way. Of course, game number 2 of the doubleheader to follow after this out in Seattle. But then next Wednesday, 11:30 Eastern Time, we'll be bringing you a game. And also on Friday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, as a lot of NBA playoff action. And there they are. And possibilities or something, aren't they?
This is a very, very tough contest out here. The game coming up after this one is going to be a great basketball game. I think if they're playing that game in the Kingdome, they're liable to have the largest crowd again, break another record. The Seattle fans really support their team.
They're going to be playing that game in the Coliseum because they couldn't get the Kingdome, so that's the only reason.
Sam Schulman's probably dying because of that. It only cost him about 40,000 customers.
But it's so noisy in that Coliseum. That could be Sonic's advantage.
Well, they lost one game there earlier in the series, so I don't know how much of an advantage it is, but that should be a great basketball game.
Now you see Darryl Dawkins, Caldwell Jones. They're back in along with Bobby Jones, Lionel Hollins, and Henry Bibby. Dawkins with 23 points Friday night. The first game of the series with Atlanta, he was held to 2, but then he finished out that series with 30 points. His inconsistency has been a real problem. And here comes Maravich, who we mentioned would be checking in. And he's in at one of the guard spots along with Archibald. 3-point lead for the Celtics. 1:24 to go, and that one almost got away from him. Cowens hustling out. Cowens, a real steadying influence on this team. Bird, he may have overpassed there. Henry Bibby comes out of there. Look at that. Bibby with the excellent ball handling. Up to Bobby Jones.
That's fine basketball there on the part of the Sixers. Started with Caldwell Jones. Great defense on Bird. Forced the turnover. They got the transition break. Passed the ball beautifully. Excellent basketball.
Celtics by 1. This game has been tied already 4 times. 5 lead changes. Maxwell tries a left-hander. He is really doing yeoman work inside right now for Boston.
He really is, and he's not a big, strong, physical type of a player. He's tall and lean. He's got tremendous long arms. Here he gets good position. Looked like he might have hooked with the pump fake. Darryl did the no-no in basketball. That's leave your feet defensively.
The penalty now in as Dawkins now with 2 personal fouls. Maxwell led the NBA in field goal percentage, and then he came on to shoot extremely well in that Houston series against you. He shot 63% from the field in that series.
Yeah, I think he was a little unconscious against us. It was incredible.
Boy, they took 4 games from you. Do you remember it all, or you want to forget about it?
Did we play the Celtics? I don't even remember that.
25-22. Boston with the lead. Maravich trying to stay with Hollins. Archibald against Bibby. That's the matchups in the backcourt. Caldwell off to Bobby Jones. Got a mismatch. And the white shirts around the ball. Good defensive board work that time by the Boston Celtics. Bird had it batted away from behind. It will be the Celtics basketball. You see the time left. 31 seconds in this first period.
That was good pursuit that time by Lionel Hollins, and was able to knock the ball free.
And that keeps him out of that running game, and that's what Billy C. is so concerned about today. Maravich out to Archibald. Larry Bird. Bird trying to back in on Jones. Uses a screen by Maravich.
He's really got the shot down. I'm telling you, Gary, he's really into the flow. He got a little bit of a screen, not much room, but you don't need much room when you're shooting the ball well.
Is he something? He has 11 points already in the game. That's the last time down the floor. Scored by Cowens. You see the time left. He's got enough time, and he got it. And that's going to end our first period of play.
And the reason for the Celtics having a lead right now, Gary, is the fact they've been much more aggressive on the defensive end of the floor. They have not allowed the Philadelphia team to get that many transition baskets. They are pumped up. They're ready to play this game this afternoon.
There's our score after 12 minutes of play. Friday night, Rick, the Celtics led after the first 12 minutes, 25-22. I think Boston doing things a lot better than they were Friday night.
Well, again, the defense is the big difference. They are really overplaying. They're much more tenacious on the defensive end of the floor. They've caused 7 turnovers on the part of Philadelphia. Of course, they've been a little bit loose with the ball themselves. They also had 7 turnovers in the first quarter.
We start quarter number 2. Bibby and Cheeks at the guards. Bobby Jones, Caldwell Jones, Erving. And a pass inside, and Madden has spotted someone for the foul.
That's Maravich.
Go against Maravich.
You see Julius come from the weak side across the floor. They make a little screen. Pete tries to switch, a little too aggressive, hits him with the body and the arm.
Maybe he'll inbounds to Cheeks. Boy, Archibald right under his chin on that play. Caldwell Jones now playing the center spot. Dawkins out of there as we start the second period. Erving moving in on Larry Bird. Not much you can do about that.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do with the doctor, however, is to give him the baseline on either side, because you can't get much help defensively. You're much better off to force him into the middle where you can get some help from your teammates.
Boy, what a meeting they're having. Bird with 11 points. Now the doctor with 10. It was 29 and 27 Friday night. One of the classic matchups in basketball, and Bird comes back to the other end.
One thing about Larry, he's tough inside and outside, and when he's got it going, he can hurt you in a lot of ways.
31-24. Larry Bird with 13 points. Caldwell Jones with Cowens all over him. Cowens has gone all the way thus far. We'll see Roby later. Cheeks from the corner. Cedric Maxwell out to Maravich. Maxwell doesn't get a lot of the credit that's due him. Here is Bird off the glass.
I tell you, when you have that feeling as an offensive player, it doesn't matter what you do, that ball's going to go in the basket. Wisely, Billy Cunningham, who said before the game, if he has to stem the tide by calling 3 timeouts in a row, he will do it. Wise timeout. We'll see the good lead pass by Maravich out to the Bird. He sees the defense coming, pulls up and shoots it. Again, he's got the feeling. He knows that he's rolling, and he's going to take advantage of it. Smart playing by Larry Bird.
These two men are carrying their teams right now. Dr. J with 10 points, Larry Bird with 15 points.
There's no question about that, Gary. Without those two players in there, this would be a different basketball game.
Bird has hit 7 of 12 from the field. The Doctor 5 of 7. So both of them shooting excellent percentage. Bibby with Maravich on in. Look at that from the baseline level, showing you how tough it is to shake Maravich in that situation. They could go backcourt because the ball was touched by Boston. Cheeks off to Bobby Jones. Jones uses the screen by Caldwell Jones.
That's a good step out defensively by Cowens. Bobby Jones just hit a difficult shot. During the timeout, Billy Cunningham said, come on, you guys, we're not being aggressive defensively. We're letting them do whatever they want. We've got to get more aggressive defensively.
And he called one of those timeouts. He said he'd use them early. Backdoor to Tiny, rejected by Bobby Jones, but there's Maxwell again.
Well, that time they had the help going from the weak side to the strong side and allowed Maxwell to roll in there to pick up the rebound in the basket.
Boy, he is really doing a job inside. He has 8 points, and he's gotten them in tough, right next to the basket with people all over it. Cheeks, Maravich on him. Out to Bibby. 7 seconds on the shot clock. The Doctor with 5. That play was not very well legislated that time. No. Here comes Maravich, and that'll be off of Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's doing the same type of thing Boston did in the third period in game number 1. Most of their shots are coming from the outside, and if you're not hitting those outside shots, that enables the other team, if they can control the board, to get the fast break going. Here comes Dawkins back.
Darryl Dawkins comes in. Caldwell Jones will leave. Well, that's depth when you can keep moving those guys around. There's the back door intended for Maravich, and he's out of bounds with it. It'll be the Sixers basketball. That time, too many red shirts got in the way of the pass.
Well, Maravich makes a real good effort to try and get the ball. It was not a good pass from out of bounds. There he steps. They said his foot hit the line.
9.5 minutes to go till halftime. Here's Darryl Dawkins against Bird. Bird with a rebound, and again, you got to credit Boston for good position on the board.
Well, at least they're trying to go inside that time.
Maravich, he walked with the basketball. At halftime, we'll be showing you highlights of game number 1. We'll be visiting with Red Auerbach, along with Harry Mangurian of the Boston Celtics, talking about the turnaround. And, of course, this reminder, game 2 of our doubleheader from Seattle, game 7. the deciding game between Milwaukee and the Sonics, and that's going to be off of Philadelphia. Turnovers now starting to mount up. That's 8 against Philadelphia, 9 against Boston.
Well, when they're not shooting the ball well and you don't even get a chance to shoot it, it's pretty tough to turn things around.
Maravich off to Bird. Again, Bird is just playing tremendously well off the ball. Look at him move off the ball.
That was a beautiful play that time. Nice feed inside of Maxwell, who got the position underneath coming from the weak side on Bobby Jones. They fed him. When Bird's man turned his head, Bird went without the basketball. Cedric hit him for the easy 2.
He has 17 points. I don't think he can play much better than he's playing right now. Look out. Bibby has been fouled. Tripped him as he went into the crowd there, almost out of control. And so the Sixers will bring it in. That foul going against Maravich, his second.
Let's watch the defensive effort by the Celtics this time.
And as he inbounds the ball, he stepped out of bounds. Cheeks stepped over the line. Look at it.
There's the play again. Look at the tough defense. Throws it to Cheeks. His foot was on the line when he touched the ball. Left foot. Very good call by the official.
Boy, they really converged on him, didn't they? Steve Mix is getting ready to check in. You can see him in the background, number 54, Philadelphia. Maravich, he wants to put one up. Bibby's not going to let him. Well, I guess he is too. How about that?
That was not a good shot. Pete forced that one. It went in the basket, so it turns out to be a good play. But those type of plays can really hurt you in crucial situations.
39-26, the Celtics can do no wrong. Cheeks off to Erving. Erving forcing the shot. Maravich with the rebound, and this crowd is delirious right now. Bird is open on the baseline. Archibald to hit it.
Tiny didn't see the Bird man, but the Celtics have got it rolling now. Sixers can't buy a basket every time they miss. Celtics get it off the board. They get the transition opportunities, and they're taking advantage of it. Philadelphia has to do a lot of regrouping quickly.
Steve Mix is now checked into the game, replacing this man, Bobby Jones, as the Sixers are in a little bit of trouble. They've been outscored in this second quarter, 12-4.
I think Billy's made that move because Steve Mix is a little tougher on the boards, likes to play in close, and he may be trying to get the ball inside a little bit more and try and get a little more rebounding.
In the second quarter, Philadelphia's hit only 2 of 7 shots. Dawkins is going to...
Shows you when things are not going well for you. That was a great penetration move that time. See Hollins come in on the penetration. Good defense by Cowens. The pass off to the open man, Dawkins, but he just couldn't handle the pass.
And so Dawkins will go up against Cedric Maxwell. While Philadelphia has not been shooting well, Boston has hit 6 of 7 shots in this second period. 41-36 in favor of the Celtics, trying to even up this best-of-7 series. And, of course, Game 7 of that Seattle-Milwaukee game to follow after this. Excellent basketball here in CBS. Here's Darryl Dawkins. Maxwell on him. And Dawkins now makes it 41-28.
Again, that's a tough shot in this situation. Fortunately for the Philadelphia team, the ball went in.
Archibald with Bibby on him. Dave Cowens to Maravich. Maravich trying to shake loose. And that one will not go. And that time Erving tipped it out. The race is on. Look at Dawkins. Dawkins off to Erving. That's going to be tough. Oh,
it's a tough shot. Doc just did it by himself again. He did have a man open. He might have been better off to pass it, but you can't fault him when the ball goes in the hole.
That score should read 41-30 after that basket. But again, Dawkins really fired out of there, didn't he, on that race with Dave Cowens for the ball. Good, quick, active movement, and Bird's loose again. He's a one-man show right now. He has 19 points.
I'm telling you, Gary, he's got that feeling. I've had it some time before myself, and when you've got it, you really want to get the ball in your hands.
Boy, it comes at a crucial time for this Boston team. Mixes in. He can have the hot streak, too. Erving just took the ball away from Bird. Nice pass to Mix.
That was a good play that time by the Doc on the rebound. A nice pass to Mix, who recovered and came running in for the easy 2 points, but that was not a good shot by Mix in this situation. The Philadelphia team does not need 18 and 20-foot shots at this stage.
Cowens from outside. Bird is everywhere. We're going to have a loose ball foul. I tell you, the thing that gets me is how Erving just kind of takes over the game when his team starts having problems. That foul going against Bibby, his first. And Archibald will check out. Chris Ford, you see him. Ford, number 42, replacing Archibald. Again, they're not getting a lot of scoring from those guards, are they?
They don't need it right now.
That's the truth. Bird with 19 points. He's been phenomenal. Ford off to Maravich. Pistol Pete Maravich now with 4 points, 2 of 3 from the field. 45-32. This Boston team had the lead, remember, Friday night, only to have the third quarter turnaround on them. But they're playing much better basketball than the game we saw Friday night. Here's Bibby, rejected by Bird. Maxwell, Bird throwing things at both ends of the floor. Chris Ford, boy, he loves to shoot from there. He'd like to move out a little further for that three-pointer. Up to Cowens. Cowens with Dawkins on him. Look at Bird again.
Bird is really playing a great game. He just did that all on his own that time. He saw Cowens going to shoot it, circled around behind him. Nobody blocked him off the boards. Easy two.
Larry Bird is now 5 of 5 from the field in this second quarter play. 47-32. Hollins in a lot of trouble. Look at the swarming defense by Boston. Erving out to Bibby. 6 seconds on the shot clock. 3 on the shot clock, and Mix gets it.
That time Philadelphia moved the ball very well until they got a man open. They need to do more of that. That might enable them to get inside a little bit more.
Maravich out to Ford. Sometimes you get impatient when you get behind like that, don't you?
Certainly do.
Here's Maxwell against Mix, and he's fouled by Mix. And Bobby Jones will be checking back in. Let's look at this last play.
Here's the play this time by Maxwell. He makes the spin move. Mix doesn't quite get to the baseline in time to shut him off. Has the body contact because he was moving, and he passed it off and goes to the sideline.
The doctor will sit down, and you see Bobby Jones. That was the first foul against Steve Mix. Again, Hollins pressuring Maravich. They're picking him up a long ways out on that floor. Look at that. Ford has Bibby. They respect that outside shooting.
And you notice how easy Boston is able to maneuver the ball from one side of the floor to the other. Maravich open.
Maravich, excellent move.
Again, the Philadelphia defense they have some intensity for the first 1 or 2 passes, but Boston passes the ball 5, 6, 7 times, and sooner or later they break the defense down.
Pistol Pete now with 8 points in the game. Bibby, Ford on in. 9 seconds on the shot clock to Dawkins. Lean in and charging. Nope. It's going to be a blocking foul on Boston.
That was a great example of great team defense that time, and you'll notice the difference between the two teams playing defense. Here you see Cowens jump out on the screen. The pick and roll. Bird comes over to help from the weak side. Perfect position. Dawkins jumps into him. Looked like it could have easily been an offensive foul. But the thing is, Gary, the great defense by the Boston team. Not many centers in the league are going to jump out on that pick and roll play like Cowens did, plus the great weak side help by Bird.
That's the first foul on Larry Bird. That shows the intensity of the game. He barely got the ball to the rim. And he doesn't get either one of them. And this crowd, 15,320. They like the way things are going for their Celtics. Maravich out to Cowens. Cowens trying to get Dawkins away from that basket. Ford with Hollins on him. Again, you can see how they're pressuring him outside. Cowens intended for Bird. Here comes Mix.
It's probably the best defense Philadelphia's played in this game.
Mix. Dawkins to follow. Good hustle by both those big men.
And the defense enabled Philadelphia to get a transition opportunity. They got an easy 2 points. It was their defense that enabled them to do it.
6 points in the game for Dawkins. 49-36. Philadelphia trying to claw back. Cowens almost did not save that basketball as he gets it to Maravich. Cowens has gone all the way. Here's Maxwell against Mix. Off balance and got it.
Cedric looks very awkward at times, but he certainly gets the job done. He didn't look real smooth on that, but the ball went through the basket.
They call him the other forward, the guy that plays across from Bird, but he certainly is an integral part of this team. Hollins gets away from Maravich.
You see what will happen if you're successful on a pick and roll. That time Dave was a little reluctant to jump out and enabled Hollins to have the open jump shot.
Hollins now with 6 points, 51-38. It'll be an uphill battle for the Sixers, but they came from behind Friday night. Maravich into Cowens. Maxwell, by the way, has 9 rebounds as Maravich. Good movement away from the ball.
That's almost an impossible situation. At that time, the defensive man trailed his man Maravich to the basket, and Cowens hit him with the pass. He had a half a step on him.
53-38. You can see Dawkins and Cowens are pushing in there. That is the land of the Giants, and Dawkins can't get it to go. Jones follows. He looked like he might have been fouled, and the basket will count.
He was definitely fouled. Larry Bird hit him right on the arm, but he got away with that one.
Well, the basket will go anyway, and it's 53-40. 13-point lead now for the Boston Celtics. Maravich seeing a lot of playing time. This veteran Glad to be a Celtic. Cowens out to Maxwell. Larry Bird. Bird in trouble. Gets it off to Cowens. That was good defense by Bobby Jones that time.
Sixers definitely playing better defense right now.
Hollins out to Mix. And all of a sudden now, there's the earmarks of a comeback by Philadelphia.
And again, the defense is keyed for them. They have been able to stop the Celtics down the other end of the floor. Bill Fitch does not like it. He wants to discuss it with his team. He's seen the momentum of this game start to swing back in Philadelphia's favor.
There's Bill Fitch, and I might add a much slimmer Bill Fitch. He's lost a lot of weight this year. This man in his first year as a head coach of Boston. We have an injury timeout to Chris Ford. Ford has been shaken up, and Fitch now will get this opportunity to express his feelings about how this game is going. He can't be too unhappy, though, right now.
Well, he's talking to Tiny Archibald. He wants to get into the ball game. He's called Cowens over to say something to him. There you see Ford getting some instructions from Casey Jones, assistant coach.
Ford okay, the 22nd injury timeout. And Maravich for the basketball. 1.5 minutes to go till halftime. Cowens with Dawkins on him. Cowens has played the entire first half. Jones with another steal to Mix, and he'll let him take it. Maxwell thought about blocking that, and all of a sudden now it's 53-44.
Bobby Jones came back to the game to play defense, and that's what he's done.
We're going to have a backcourt foul. Let's go back to the steal.
Here you see Cowens on a little screen roll. Bobby anticipates it beautifully, steps out in front, makes a great steal, takes it down the floor for the pass to Mix. An easy 2 points for Philadelphia. Philadelphia starting to get themselves back in this basketball game just like they did Friday night.
The Boston Garden, and coming up later, the Coliseum in Seattle. Game 7 of that deciding game of the Western Conference semifinals. Seattle-Milwaukee immediately following this one. Philadelphia now has scored 6 straight points. Boston had a lead of 15 points at one stage. Now they lead at 53-44. Chris Ford at the line. He was fouled by Bibby, his second. It was a backcourt foul. 3 to make 2. I'm sorry, the penalty was not in, but he had the 2 free throws coming on the backcourt foul. Here's Lionel Hollins. Ford to pick him up. The second quarter now. Boston's hit 13 of 18 from the field. Philadelphia 50% for the field. Hollins tries to take it in. Dawkins follows. Whoa, wait a minute. Foul by Ford. He held on to the rim. You can get a T on that.
You see the play again. Roby with a good recovery makes the block. Ball comes off. Dawkins with the rebound. Goes up, gets whacked. Hangs on the rim without question. You can see the rim and the basket go down.
Well, the foul on Ford is his second, and there's the big guy at the line, 23 years old, Darryl Dawkins, averaging almost 15 points a game during the regular season. There you see it. His playoff average is up. Dawkins doing a much better job at the line this time. He missed the last 2. 54-46. There's your time remaining. 1 minute till halftime. You can see Philadelphia not out of this one. ML Carr now has checked in for the first time, and he's in trouble, and he's called for charging.
Again, Gary, 76ers are like a different basketball team out here. They are so much more intense on the defensive end of the floor. It has not been that the Celtics have been that ineffective and haven't run their offense. It's been the Philadelphia defense that has caused the problems.
I guess sometimes you forget what makes you successful.
Defense is what does it, especially in playoff games.
54-46. Hollins had a mismatch. He didn't get the shot, and look at the horsing job by Bobby Jones. Great effort on his part. And now it's 54-48. Remember, the Celtics led by 15 points in the second quarter at one time. So Philadelphia is right back in it. They made that kind of a move in the third quarter Friday night. Chris Ford has to kick it out to Archibald. And again, they're not getting the scoring from their guards. Hollins comes away with it. And now with a chance to cut it to 4. They'll go for the last shot of the first half of play. Hollins off to Dawkins. Boy, they've gotten remarkable effort from their bench, haven't they? Mix and Jones. Here's Mix. You see the time remaining. He got it. And we have a 4-point game at halftime. The Boston Celtics with that 4-point lead as Mix contributes 10 points in this first half of play. It was a 15-point lead in the second quarter, all of a sudden whittled down to 4 after the Celtics had outscored them in a run of 12-4, only to see Philadelphia come back and run off 6 straight points and climb right back into this game. And so we have what should be an outstanding second half of play, as Philadelphia leading 1-0. And this is the game that Boston just can't let get away from them, because then they, of course, will return for 2 games in Philadelphia. And all year long, both Philadelphia and Boston, as you might suspect, have played remarkably well at home. In fact, this Philadelphia team at home with Phoenix for having the best record in the NBA, as they were 36-5 at home. So Boston can ill afford to lose here and then try to go to the Spectrum and be able to pull it out there. Let's go now to Rick Barry.
Well, you can't be happy with what happened in that second quarter. Had a 15-point lead. What are you going to talk to him about at halftime?
Well, I'm going to talk to him about what we were doing right to get the 15-point lead and leave the negative behind until the ball game's over. We can't do anything about that. We're going to have to get more help from our bench the second half. I thought when we made some substitutions, our defense, that's why I was reluctant to substitute. Our defense was doing pretty good. And when it's going strong, the fatigue factor got us in trouble, but we went with the people as long as we could. I think what we're going to have to do is just come back and play some strong defense and start getting the ball in the right people's hands again. We had some people that made some very poor offensive mistakes passing the basketball. And if we take better care of the ball and go back to our defense, Rick, will be all right. But we have to know that Philadelphia has gotten here in the playoffs by being a strong second half and an especially strong third quarter team. So we're going to come back out with our best start the second half, and we're going to have to. That's the formula from here on out.
Well, good luck to you. Thanks for stopping by and talking to us. Now let's go back to you, Gary.
Okay, Rick, 54-50. We're going to be back with the highlights of game number 1 played here Friday night, won by the 76ers. Well, as you can see at our halfway point, the Boston Celtics shooting very well from the field, 60%. The Sixers heating up after a slow start. In fact, they scored 12 of the last 13 points in that second quarter of play. From the free throw line, the Sixers not doing very well. Rebounds are pretty equal, both offensively. Well, defensively, the Celtics have somewhat of an advantage there. And the turnovers, Boston with more. That was one facet of the game that concerned Billy Cunningham, whether or not they could hold their turnover. As far as individual scoring is concerned in this first half of play, it's been Larry Bird's game. He has 21 points in this first half. He's just been nothing short of phenomenal. After that, Maxwell has 10. Maravich has 8. And you can see Cowens, who played almost the entire first half before Roby came in late, had 6 points. Ford and Archibald, again, the Celtics not getting a lot of scoring from their backcourt. There's the doctor with 12, and he started bringing his team back. And look what they did from the bench. Steve Mix came in with 10 points. Dawkins, Jones also with a total of 8 points. And so the Sixers started to make a come-from-behind bid, and to ask more about that, let's go now to Rick Barry, who's with Coach Billy Cunningham.
Billy, some anxious moments there in the first half. What do you think turned it around for you?
Our aggressiveness defensively, and then we started hitting the offensive boards a little bit. Our ball movement became better. We're a team that will bounce back, and we proved that then.
Anything special for the second half other than what you did in the second quarter?
Try and do a better job on Bird. That's been the key. You know, he was just hitting some shots that were unbelievable. He's standing on the three-point line a few times hitting him, and we had a hand in his face. He just played outstanding, and they shot 60% from the field, which you know is quite a thing to do, and they only had 54 points, which has got to be good for us.
Well, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, Rick.
And let's.
The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Sheraton Hotels and Inns Worldwide, the hotel company of the 80s. DuPont Rain Dance Car Wax. Rain Dance keeps on shining rain after rain, wash after wash. And by Lowenbrau. When it's time for the taste of a truly great beer, let it be Lowenbrau.
We're ready to go now in the second half of play. One statistic I think is outstanding in this first half is Cedric Maxwell with 9 rebounds. We mentioned he had 10 points, but 9 rebounds, 6 of those defensively, 3 offensively. He has been one of the guys that you really sometimes forget about. In fact, I think Bill Fitch said this very well one time. He says, we take him for granted. But he came in and contributed. But Rick Barry, number 33, is the guy that's, well, he's the story of the game thus far.
He certainly is. He came out very aggressive on the offensive end of the court, took up where he left off on Friday night in the second half, and has been a big factor. But along with it, Gary, I think that he's done an outstanding job on the boards. He's been active defensively. He's passed the ball around. He had a couple of bad passes, but that's going to happen to a good passer. And there's the other man who has done such an outstanding job for Philadelphia, not only here in the playoffs, but all season long.
He has 12 points. You know, I mentioned the bench scoring. Philadelphia has 20 points from their bench, Boston 8. And that's what the Sixers have really gotten thus far in this series, is very good support from the bench.
Yes, they have, and they got the defense this time from the bench. Bobby Jones in particular making a couple of great plays to turn the momentum around back in favor of the Philadelphia team. And now we've got another tough half of basketball left in front of us.
So as we start this second half, let's check it for you. Hollins and Cheeks at the guards, Caldwell, Jones, Julius, Erving, along with Darryl, Dawkins, Archibald, Ford, Maxwell, Bird, and Cowens. Start for Bill Fitch. The Celtics in a must game for him. And Caldwell Jones, he didn't get that lean-in hook to go in the first half for him, but he did there. And it's a 2-point game. Remember, they trail by 15 points at one juncture of that second quarter. Cowens is not ready, and a chance to tie it up is Philadelphia. Dave Cowens not very alert on that, and that's one of the few times you'll see that. Caldwell's going to try to do it himself. Cowens is there with a rebound.
That's not Caldwell's shot from that far out.
Larry Bird with 21 points to Maxwell, who has 10. Archibald with Cheeks on him, and Bird left-handed.
That just shows the versatility that young man has. He made a great pump fake on his shot, lost Julius on it, went by him, and threw it up with the left hand. 23
points, and Bird is putting on a clinic right now. What a job. He's just done everything out here, both ends of the floor. 10 seconds on the shot clock. 4-point lead for Boston. Cheeks broken up by Archibald, and look at the hustle. I believe Archibald touched it last. Look at Bird. Holy cow. Boy, I'll tell you, that doesn't epitomize this basketball team.
There's Larry trying to make a desperation save. He went as fast as he could, slides into the table. You can see some of the probably Boston writers trying to protect him. There he goes again.
Do you believe that play?
Yeah, well, I believe it. He's a young man, has a great deal of enthusiasm for this game. He loves to play, and it just shows you on that play there the type of attitude he has. He'll do anything he can to try and help win the game.
That's a classic. I don't believe I've ever seen anybody go after a ball quite like that.
Well, Ron Lee does it all the time in the league, but I've seen Dave Cowens do it. In fact, I saw him do it right here at Boston Garden against Milwaukee in perhaps the greatest basketball game I've ever seen, the double overtime win against Milwaukee.
We had a problem here on the 24-second clock running out as they were chasing the ball down to the other end of the floor.
Now, if they determined it was a loose ball situation, the ball was knocked loose, it would be a 24-second violation if the ball did not go out of bounds before the clock went off, because the ball was last in possession of the Philadelphia team. That's exactly what they have ruled.
I cannot get over that last effort, first by Archibald, and then further down the floor, Larry Bird. There's Fitch and Cunningham. Fitch looks like he's very well under control. Billy's concerned about where that ball should be given to him.
Well, on a 24-second violation, if it were called, they say they should get it in the back court.
Right.
But they're saying that the ball was 24 seconds and it went out of bounds down under the basket, and they're ruling that it's underneath the basket.
Now, wait a minute. Boston's getting the ball.
All right.
That's right. Okay.
24-second violation against the 76ers.
All right. So they hustle by Bird, and they still get the basketball. Boston with the 4-point lead, 56-52. Bird trying for 24 and 5. I think what you said earlier, Rick, is really important. You get that feeling, don't you?
I guarantee you get it, and Bird has it, because he's just getting it and looking to the basket, and that's what he should be doing, because he's helping his team when he does that. He's got the hot hand. You must take advantage of it.
So after cutting it to 2, they have it back to 6. Erving gets loose from Erving, should say, from Larry Bird.
Bird made a good play that time. However, he just missed the ball. He anticipated well, but it was a good bounce pass. Those are the most difficult passes to pick off when you're playing defense. You get it down low. A tall man can't get down that low.
Erving now with 14 points for the afternoon. Cowens trying to pass inside Erving, reaching over Larry Bird.
We'll watch the play again. Here's Cowens in a tough position where he feeds the ball so well. Julius lets Bird beat him across the middle. You can't afford to do that. He's over the back for the foul. Now here's that great play we talked about. First, watch the great defensive play by Archibald here. Reaches in on Cheeks, knocks it loose. There the ball. It's knocked again by Archibald down the floor. Bird with great hustle tries to get to it. One thing it proves here that the Birdman doesn't always fly. Sometimes he takes the ground route.
Boy, fortunate he didn't sustain an injury. There is his output for the day, 25 points. I still can't get over that play. 58-54, 4-point lead for the Celtics. They led at halftime by 4. Archibald to Bird, Erving trying to stay with him. Tried to pass and does to Cowens. Ford comes away with it. Boy, that was some pass again. Look at Bird moving away from the ball again. He was open.
I'll tell you right now, he is hungry for the basketball, and they should get the ball in his hands every time down the floor right now until he cools off.
Boy, it's a Larry Bird show. 27 points.
The thing that's so tough about him, Gary, there's another turnover right off of Cheeks' knee. Tough defense again by the Celtics. The thing about Bird is that he's not going to shoot the ball and force the bad shot. He made a great pass to Cowens, who missed an easy layup inside, got it back, made the play himself. He's going to hurt you in other ways. And Philadelphia has to concentrate on him. It's going to open up other things.
6 points, should say, 6-point lead for the Boston Celtics. Archibald into Bird. Bird, one of the few he's missed in this game, but look at this. Celtics with another opportunity. They're getting the multiple shots here.
They made a defensive switch, too. Caldwell Jones now on Bird.
And Dave Cowens. That's a 2-point play, 62-54. Cowens with 8 points. That's interesting. They have made that defensive change. Get the bigger man on him. Erving had to work very hard. It might have taken him out of his offense a little bit. Hollins in trouble. Caldwell Jones. Bird with another rebound. Larry Bird in that first half had 6 rebounds. Here's Cedric Maxwell reversing. Dawkins rejects it. Boy, I mean rejects it.
Bill Fitch hollering for goaltending. Looked like it was pinned by Dawkins on the board.
Erving, look at the body control, but it won't go. Dawkins will try to take it up. Ford has a hand on him, and we're going to have a foul.
Chris Ford will be called for the foul, holding Dawkins down low.
You see the way Erving, well, let's go back on this last play.
Look at Cowens and Dawkins fighting under the board. Dawkins comes up with the rebound. Here comes Ford right there, whacks him, grabs him on the arm. He says, "You're not going to get a dunk this time, Darryl."
That was a remarkable move by Erving. He had to hold up in midair, body control, didn't get the shot to drop. The Sixers need a basket, and Julius is going to try to do it. Look at that meeting. A foul on Dave Cowens.
Cowens with a good defense to help out. Julius just beats Bird on this play. Again, he gave him the baseline. Here comes the Doc. He's going up. Cowens over in time. Jumps in the air. The body collision. The foul on Cowens. Big thing again. Force the doctor into the middle so you can get even more help than just one man coming from the weak side. 2 shots coming for the doctor. He has 14 points. Seems like every time the Sixers start to fade a little bit, he kind of takes the game over himself, doesn't he? He just takes over. And there's Dave Cowens with 2 personal fouls. One of the most active centers ever to play the game of basketball on the defensive end of the floor. Bill Fitch says he's the best defensive center in the NBA. He gets some argument, but he's not shabby, is he? He does an excellent job. Well, it just goes to show you that you can have a successful team without having to have a 7-footer playing in the middle. 16 points now for the doctor. 62-56. Maxwell, foul coming away. Maxwell continues to do the work inside. Well, that's a good, smart play by the Celtics. Now they're trying to take advantage of the Doc on defense. You see the good position. Maxwell had a nice lead pass. Doc gets over there and has to grab him to stop him. Caldwell Jones had come over, but he really wasn't a factor in the play at that time. That's 3 fouls on Erving. And Maxwell to the line. You can see his playoff average, very, very good. In fact, if you compare that with his seasonal average, it's about 4 points more. He's averaged just about 16 and a half a game. Bill Fitch doing exactly what he said he would like to do when I talked to him before the game, is to make Julius Erving have to work hard in the defensive end of the floor. And that's what's happening. Some important free throws missed. Boston shot very well from the line in the first half, 6 of 7. That was easy, wasn't it? Easy for him, not for me. 62-58. Darryl Dawkins now in double figures with 10 points. Archibald and Cheeks. Boy, they've just kind of offset each other as far as offense is concerned. Neither one able to get open. Here's Ford. Hollins on him. 7 seconds on the shot clock. 5 seconds. Cowens. Good boxing off, but Caldwell Jones still came away with it. Maurice Cheeks off to Erving. Erving wants to take Bird inside to Dawkins. That's a long ways out for the big guy. It's a bad shot. And it's not the kind of shots that Billy Cunningham wants to see. Here's Cheeks, Archibald. You can see they just can't get inside against each other. Darryl against Cowens, and he just packed him in. That's what they need to do. You can't stop that type of play.
And Cowens is arguing with Jack Madden. He thought he was pushed off on. 2-point game again, 62-60. And Dawkins just ran over Cedric Maxwell and picks up the foul. You're going to have a timeout now, called by the Boston Celtics.
The pass by Bird, again, man defensively, Dawkins a little late getting over there, allowing the man come from the weak side and fouling him. During the timeout, as you see the Celtics come back on the floor, Bill Fitch said is sitting down. This is Billy Cunningham talking to his team. He's going to have the forward pop out, get the ball from the guard. Forward will then go back down after he returns the ball and set a screen. Like you see, the screen right there is going to be set on the defensive center, which should be Cowens or Roby, who are both in the game right now. And they're trying to get the ball down low. The next offensive try to Darryl Dawkins.
Dawkins picked up his third foul. Both he and Ford have 3 fouls in this game. The only ones in foul difficulty. This is Ford. Rebound, and Erving getting high for that one. A chance now to tie this game up.
Not a good shot by Chris Ford. He forced that one.
Boy, Erving getting up high for the board. Here's Bird trying to keep him out of there.
Well, they're not running the play they just talked about. That's why coaches go crazy.
Dawkins, 7 seconds on the shot clock, 5 seconds on it. Oh.
Again, not a good shot, but it went in the basket, so they'll take it, I'm sure.
14 points now for Dawkins. 62 all. We have 6 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the third period. Rick Roby. We just checked in on that last timeout. That left-handed hooker, and Erving brings it down, and now the Sixers with a chance to take the lead. They trail by 15 points in that second quarter, and they've really come back in a hurry in this game. Lionel Hollins with Ford on him. Dawkins again, and he can't get this one. Bird, off it comes to Archibald. Tiny Archibald, baseline, Roby, and they're going to let him try a second time. Roby gets it to go. Boy, he was really hammered in there. No whistle, but the basket will count for Roby.
There's the play again. Dawkins going up there with a lot of authority. He wasn't called for the foul. I think he even thought he was because he stopped playing for a second. He figured the foul was going to be called.
Well, that's the hardest he's been hit and not get a foul, right? 64-62, the Celtics by 2.
There's the play. They just tried to run it that time, but Cowens played it beautifully.
Cowens and Dawkins shoving off, committing the foul is Dawkins. No, 3 seconds in the lane. Boy, were they pushing her. Watch this.
Now here's the play. Good pressure by Bird. Makes it tough for Julius to look. The screen came across. There's Dawkins trying to hold on, but they didn't get it to him quickly enough. Cowens with good defense.
3 seconds in the lane, and that gets it back now. Caldwell Jones to Cheeks. Cheeks off to Lionel Hollins. Oh, off balance. Had to change his shot and a foul. Lee Jones spotting the foul. That will be the second foul in the game against Caldwell Jones. And there's Bobby Jones coming in. Darryl Dawkins will leave. Dawkins with 14 points. 64-62. The Celtics by 2. Roby, Jones all over him. The Bird trying to take Caldwell Jones in, and we're going to have a charging foul on Larry Bird.
That's a good call that time on the official's part. Larry Bird tried to get a pump fake to Caldwell Jones. He wouldn't take it. We'll watch it here. Jones didn't take it. He's got his hand down a little bit, but now he's going to try to force the shot by jumping in to Caldwell Jones. Hard to see it on that angle, but he did jump in.
Second foul on Larry Bird. 4:45 to go, third period. 2-point lead for the Celtics, a chance to tie it up for Philadelphia. Bobby Jones trying to do just that. Bird is there again. Boy, he has a handful of defensive boards, and he overthrows Chris Ford.
At this stage of the game, perhaps not the wisest decision to throw that pass. Chris was not that wide open like he had an easy, uncontested layup. Even if he had caught that ball, he really would not have been able to do much with it. Ill-advised pass that time by Larry.
That was 16 turnovers now against the Boston Celtics, 12 against Philadelphia. Erving, beautiful move. He drew a crowd, and we have a foul. Jack Madden indicating the foul, and that will put him in the penalty.
Bobby Jones picking it up this time. Here you see Julius again getting the baseline. Roby just makes a great defensive play to block it. There coming up over the back was Bobby Jones right in the middle of the picture.
Bobby Jones picking it up, putting him in the penalty, and Boston has called a timeout. So the Celtics with that 2-point lead, 64-62. They realize what an excellent second half team this Philadelphia team is. Gary Bender with Rick Berry. Rick, in this third quarter, we've only had 22 points scored. Shows you the intensity on the defensive end.
Well, both teams really working hard at it. Philadelphia not really playing tough defense in the early part of the game, fell behind 15. Here's a very interesting matchup. It's been a big factor right now in this third quarter. Caldwell Jones on the right of the screen doing a fine job on Larry Bird after Larry had the real hot hand. He's been very effective in stopping Larry from scoring any points since that switch.
The pressure now after Roby gets his third and fourth points of the game. A 4-point lead now for Boston. This game has been tied 5 times. Cheeks gets it off to Erving. There's Hollins trying to cut in. It looked like he's throwing a block. Caldwell Jones, and Jones is pushed. Boy, it's physical. 6 seconds on the shot clock. 5, 4, and Hollins. Rebound, Larry Bird. Should have said Cheeks shot that. Here comes Bird, and that time there was a lot of pushing and no whistle.
A couple of guys could have got arrested on the street for doing that.
Roby out to Archibald. Dave Cowens back to Archibald using the screen.
That's what Tiny was so effective in the Houston series, hitting that jumper behind the screen. He didn't do it Friday night.
He has 6 points now, 68-62. So after cutting it to 2, they bump it back up to 6 points again. It's happened twice here in the third period.
Bibby's getting ready to come in the game for Philadelphia.
7 seconds on the shot clock. They're using a lot of time trying to get their offense rolling. Hollins again, and Bird is there on the weak side. He's done that all afternoon long. 68-62. And Erving almost came up with the steal. Cowens. Caldwell Jones, a tantalizing miss for Cowens, and we have a backcourt foul against Rick Roby.
Rick Roby really got frustrated right there. Lionel Hollins had jumped on top of him on that rebound opportunity. As we'll see here, watch Cowens take the shot, misses a little right-handed. Now watch, look at Hollins backing under. Roby just gets frustrated, just takes him and throws him down on the ground right in front of the official. Possession by the Sixers, backcourt foul.
Roby with his first personal foul, a backcourt foul, and Billy Cunningham wants to know what?
He wants to know what's happening in the game. In that last sequence when we talked about how physical it was with people flying all over the place, on the ground, in the air, Billy jumped up as high as I think I've ever seen him during his career trying to get the official to call a foul.
There wasn't enough room for 10 people out there the way they were playing there at one stage.
They could sell an extra seat in the stadium because Cunningham hasn't used it in the 2 games.
So they cut it back to 4, 68-64. 8 points in the game for Lionel Hollins. Archibald, he almost falls down. Ran into Dawkins. That would make you fall down. Ford off to Bird again. Dawkins skies for that one off to Bibby. A chance to cut it to 2. 2:45 remaining third period. Bobby Jones against Bird, and he changed hands. Tipped by Hollins, won't go. Off it comes to Archibald. Archibald going to penetrate inside. Dawkins is there with yet another rebound. He's really doing a job on the defensive board.
Fitch was just livid. He wanted the foul call that time. He and Cunningham are really being very demonstrative in this game.
They're letting a play, aren't they? Bibby backs in, and he tries to force it, and everyone a little out of control right now.
This game is getting a little out of control. They're going to have to start calling a few fouls, or we're going to see some action out here that's not called for.
Bird tries it. Hollins comes away with it. And both these teams are trying so hard, and look at Fitch and Cunningham. They can't believe it right now.
There's been a lot of contact out here without a foul being called, and there was at least 3 or 4 fouls committed in the last couple of minutes that have been let go.
4-point lead now for the Boston Celtics. Hollins to Dawkins. Tiny collapsed on him and made him walk with the ball.
That's great play by Tiny that time. He really caused Darryl to walk with that basketball. We'll see the good lob pass. He had position. Roby's completely out of the play. There's Tiny. Bangs the ball. Dawkins jumps up. Is not able to get it on the floor quick enough.
Now, wait a minute. We have an altercation over there in front of the 76ers bench. Hollins discussing it with Lee Jones. Billy Cunningham upset. I don't know what that's all about.
One thing you do have to say, though, Gary, the officials have let it go on both ends of the court. They're not favoring either team, but they're allowing, I think, too much contact out there without calling something.
There's your time remaining. Third period. Well, it's playoff time, right?
Doesn't matter. That's not the way the game was designed to be played.
There's Ford. Chris Ford hitting outside. For him, that's 7 points. Back to a 6-point lead. Hollins. There's Bobby Jones run over by Ford. Ford picking up the foul.
That's a good call. They should have called that. Ford just ran into him. Watch Ford now. He's going to run into him. Now watch him push off right there. I mean, that's a definite foul. Bobby gave a little acting job on it, but it was a foul.
Mix and Erving, you look at them, mix in, giving the doctor a breather. That foul, by the way, on Chris Ford was his 4th. Mix checks in, and he wants to register two in a hurry, and white shirts all around the board on that rebound.
Again, poor shot selection.
Boy, Bird has a lot of rebounds. We'll try to check that for you. Roby. Roby with 6 points. And so after whacking it down to 2, Boston now has gotten a little breathing room as we come to the last minute of this third quarter. Hollins dribbled it off his foot. There is a matchup between these two. Larry Bird, look at that, 12 rebounds for Bird.
I think Julius having to play that tough defense. Really, he didn't get involved in the offense much after that great start that he had.
That turnover, by the way, the last one was the 14th against Philadelphia, 16 for Boston, 72-64. Roby out to Archibald, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Cowens. That's the time remaining in this third quarter. Air ball off of Dawkins.
That should have been a 24-second violation, and Billy Cunningham should have been up. That ball never touched the basket. The clock was down to about 3, and it would have been a violation, and he's not complaining about it. That's a real big break for Boston that time. You see the ball going out of bounds. They neglected. They stopped that. They did not stop the 24-second clock, or I should say they did.
Now Cunningham was up arguing that very fact. He wants Lee Jones and Jack Madden over there.
He is yelling about it. He said 24 seconds after the ball hit nothing, and it's exactly what happened. The clock should have kept going. Here you see the play. Cowens is shooting it. 24 seconds, like right there is 3. It should be 2. 1, it's still not out of bounds. 24-second violation right there. The ball's still in play.
Well, who's going to win this battle? Cunningham is trying to stay away. He has Mix over there representing him. Tiny Archibald for Boston. Let's listen.
Okay, we have 5 seconds on the clock. 5 seconds.
That is not right. They were making a mistake here. Unfortunately, they didn't see the replay, but it should have been a 24-second violation because the ball was saved and never went out of bounds. When it hit the foot of Roby or hit the foot of one of the Philadelphia players, it was still in play, and the 24-second clock should have expired.
Dick Pavetta, the alternate official, helped him make that decision. They set 5 seconds on the clock and another foul. Penalty in effect. Right now, Philadelphia's having a tough time getting that ball out of this end of the court.
Yes, and that was, again, a big play for Philadelphia. This is a chance now for the Celtics to move the score up by 10. They would have had the ball, could have cut it to 6, so we could have a 4-point swing on that very critical play.
And remember, they had it cut down to 2 points twice in this third quarter. There's been 5 ties in this game. Archibald prevents the penalty and 73-64.
You can credit that one to the 24-second clock operator.
An assist on the point. 10-point lead now. The biggest lead in the game was 15 by Boston back in the second quarter. So Bibby will bring it down. 29 seconds left in the third. Boy, this crowd is really noisy right now. Ford working through that screen that time of Bobby Jones. Not delicately at all. Bibby. He didn't have that shot cocked right, did he? Here comes Ford.
Ford bothered him. That was excellent defense on that screen and roll play.
Off to Archibald. They try to go up by 12. They're going to back it out now and take the last shot of this third quarter. Larry Bird to do it, a three-pointer. Dawkins comes away with it to Mix, and time has expired here in the third quarter. Well, you talk about pressure basketball. We have 12 minutes still remaining. The Boston Celtics now with a 10-point lead. Billy Cunningham's team is down by 10, but Rick Barry, we should mention that Philadelphia staged more successful fourth quarter comebacks this season than any NBA team. They won 15 games with which they trailed after 3 quarters.
Well, that's the regular season also, Gary, so we'll see what they can do here, but certainly if any team is capable of doing it, the Sixers are. And it's a matter of how tough the Celtics can remain with their defensive pressure to stop them from getting that transition game going, which got them back into the game in the second quarter.
Boston led by 4 at the end of the first half. They've now bumped it up to 10. Cowens with Mix on him. Cowens are running hook.
That's why Boston is so tough. Cowens can play outside. You must respect his shot. He's a good passer, and he can do that. Put the ball on the floor so he can do everything that a big man should be capable of doing playing the high post.
12-point lead, 10 points in the game for Cowens. Bobby Jones, the cutter. Tough left-handed shot.
That's the type of plays Philadelphia needs more of. Get the ball inside, good patterns, get the man 4 or 5 feet from the hole.
Jones also with 10 points. Mix reached in, but he committed the foul. He thought he got away with it, but Madden says no, sir.
Here we'll see the play. Tiny gets the screen from Cowens, rolls to the hoop. Mix reaching in, definite contact on that play.
That's his second personal. And the Celtics will inbound. Just underway, fourth quarter, doubleheader. Second game to follow, game 7. Seattle playing host to Milwaukee. Loose ball foul. It's going to go against Roby, and that's his second.
Bird trying to force the ball into Roby that time. A lot of traffic, not much Roby could do about it.
Phil Fitch pleading his case. Pressure in the backcourt, and now Philadelphia down by 12. They've got to start making their move. Next, Cowens jumps out on him. Jones is wide open. And Dawkins will be over the back of Cowens. Darryl Dawkins picking up his fourth personal.
There's Bobby Jones wide open. A little bit right and short that time. Cowens going up. Good position. Dawkins over the back. But again, Philadelphia ran a good play. They got a good shot that time. 16 feet for Bobby Jones. Usually he'll make that shot.
Boy, Boston again, they're really doing a job on the defensive boards. Boxing up, aren't they? Here's Bird. Bird hasn't scored a lot lately. Boy, he gets started, though, and do a great job. The Mix. Bird is back defensively. Mixo is able to get it in, and he cuts it back to a 76-68 game.
Again, the outside shot enabling Philadelphia to get the rebound and get their transition game going for an easy, fast break layup.
Again, Philadelphia getting a lot of help from the bench. Mix with 12 points. Archibald. Off to Bird. Bird, left-handed shot. Dawkins really rips that one down. He got hit in the face, too. He's not getting back very quickly on offense, but he doesn't need to because Bibby hit it.
It's like a carbon copy of the second quarter. They're missing the outside shots, or even that time on the drive. They get the fast break going. Philadelphia hits 2 quick shots. They've cut the 10-point lead down to 6 real fast. Bill Fitch doesn't like it. He says, let's talk about it, boys.
Well, the doctor catching a breather with 10:07 left in this game. He'll be back in on the stretch as Philadelphia's cut it to 6, 76-70. We were mentioning the bench scoring, Rick. Philadelphia has 26 points from their bench. Boston with 14.
And it shows you how this game goes in cycles. Larry Bird has missed his last 6 shots, and it all started with the defensive switch that Billy Cunningham made by putting Caldwell Jones on him. Now Bobby Jones has got him.
Boston has 2 timeouts remaining. Philadelphia 4. Inside, 10 minutes remaining in this one. Game number 2. And Jones with a big steal. Off it comes to Bibby, and Archibald is guilty of a foul.
And that time, Henry Bibby missed his man wide open. Here's the play right now. Bobby playing the tough defense, reaches in, quick hands, good steal, takes it down the floor, back over to Bibby. Bibby did not see Bobby Jones, who was open past Bird. He could have had a dunk on that play.
Our director, Tony Verna, picking up that play and showing you how you better protect that basketball. Now a chance to cut it to 4. Mix with Bird on him. Overshot it. Rebound by Maxwell again. Can't say enough about him.
He's had a lot of rest also, so he should be fresh here for the last 9.5 minutes.
A 6-point lead for the Boston Celtics. They cannot afford to lose this one. They trail 1 game to none, and it returns to Philadelphia for games 3 and 4. Here's Cowens, a big left-handed hook. Dave Cowens with 12 points. Boy, when he makes that move, just clear out. He's going to get the shot up regardless of what you try to do. Here's Mix with Bird trying to stay with him again. Jones is open, but forward a mismatch somewhere. Bibby tries to take Maxwell in. Maxwell with a block. Beautiful block by Cedric Maxwell.
And we got a jump ball. Cedric Maxwell with those great long arms. Bobby Jones, good penetration. You saw the help by Maxwell. He goes out, leaves his feet. Good move by Bibby to go around him. But look at those long arms. He just reaches out and said, hold on. Can't take that one, Henry.
Maxwell at 6'8", going up against Bibby. Bibby is only 6'1".
What they're talking about is that they had crossed legs by the big men on this jump ball situation. Cowens and Darryl Dawkins, they finally got them back so that their feet are not crossed.
I'll tell you what, they're not holding hands either. Pretty physical people right now. 78-70. There's Larry Bird again, left-handed, tries to follow, and he's going to be guilty of a foul. Boy, he can shoot either hand as well, can't he?
Yes, he can, but now watch him coming down the floor here after the break. He fills the lane beautifully on the right side. He should have stopped and taken this shot right there. He took it into the big guys, and that's not easy to do when you've got 2 men there waiting for you. If he had stopped and taken the wide open 12-footer, would have been a better chance.
The doctor has come back in. Our statistician, Father John Creed, indicating Larry Bird now has missed his last 7 shots. Darryl Dawkins, Cowens on him. 2 big, strong guys. He forced it, and Maxwell's here again.
I've said it enough times already. That's a bad shot, I think, in this situation.
Archibald, 8-point lead now for Boston. They'll take a little time with 8:24 remaining in the game. Right now, the Celtics in the driver's seat with the lead, and now with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Archibald, Bird is there, and the foul. A lot of people around that basketball, and it's going to go against Dawkins, and that's his 5th personal foul. So Darryl with 5. Let's see if Billy Cunningham will make a move to get him out of there. Chuck Daly up indicating to him that it was 5, and he's going to get a man in. He'll get Caldwell Jones in. Larry Bird, that's a 2-pointer.
The old patented Celtic weave out in front. You've got to fight over a jump switch on that, otherwise Bird could have a shot anytime he wants.
Larry Bird with 29 points. Timeout is called by Philadelphia. Philadelphia has 3 timeouts left. 7:53 remaining in this game as Dawkins will leave. Caldwell Jones will check in when we come back and resume play. While we were away, Darryl Dawkins, who had his 5th personal foul, just had a technical foul tacked on to him by Lee Jones.
As Doug Collins trying to refrain him from getting a second one. He still has 1 foul left, so he can go back in the ball game.
And Tiny Archibald also hit the free throw, a technical free throw, to make it an 81-70 game, an 11-point lead now for Boston.
These next 2 or 3 possessions will be very critical for the Sixers.
Bibby will inbounds the ball to Caldwell Jones, who comes out to greet it. 7:50 remaining. Philadelphia running out of time here in game 2. Could be all even when they return to the spectrum. Broken up by Cowens. Cheeks chase it down. 3 seconds on the shot clock. 3-pointer.
That's one way to get back into the game quickly.
Henry Bibby.
He had nothing else that he could do in that situation, and it happened to pay off this time. Big play.
81-73. Boy, you had some games that 3-pointer. You had 8 in one game. Here's Bird. Maxwell there again. He seems to always be around the ball.
And that is a very big basket by the Celtics. Good defense by the Sixers, forced the miss with the offensive rebounds. Coach's nightmare. He hates to see that happen.
12 points in the game for Cornbread. 83-73. Bibby trying to get around 4. Erving. It's tough to get inside right now. Jones hits the deck, and Maxwell will pick up the foul. Let's go back, Rick, to that other play.
Now here you see Bird gets good position. Nice pass by Cowens. He gets the basket, goes in for the shot. Caldwell Jones forces him to change his shot. There you go, a little tip by Bird. Nice move by Maxwell on the spin. Gets it over Jones. 2 points. Keeps the Celtics in control.
And Maxwell then committed the foul, and now we have another foul. This one is against Ford, and Ford now with 3 personal fouls. Caldwell Jones will go to the line. Continues to be very, very physical. Penalty in.
Again, with that 3-point play, you can never rule any type of a lead out here. I mean, 12, 15 points I've seen go right out the window with the 3-pointers. San Antonio did it against us in one game. It was incredible. It was really frightening, actually.
Well, it was incredible that day you hit 8 of them. And Caldwell Jones makes it 83-74, just inside 7 minutes remaining in the game. Second game to follow, Seattle, Milwaukee, to decide that Western Conference semifinal series. What a game that should be. Here's Archibald against Cheeks. Dave Cowens, he tries to back in about.
Sixers need to play tough defense.
Erving arguing about that.
He wanted an offensive foul on Cowens that time.
Out it comes to Maxwell. That's a tough shot. Jones tries to follow, and the doctor's there. And now Philadelphia needs a basket. Cheeks off to Bobby Jones, back to Cheeks. Quickness inside. That's off of Boston. The Sixers with a new life. 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Chris Ford saved that basket there. You'll see the play here. Cheeks comes in, Bird over. He had a chance to shoot it. He saw a man open, but Ford, with the second effort, got in there and got a hand on it.
I think he was surprised to be that open. Here's Bibby shaking loose from Ford. Ford may have gotten a hand on that ball. Maxwell out to Archibald. 6:14 remaining. Archibald penetrated.
That's just a total breakdown on the Philadelphia defense. People were not aware of where the basketball was and enabled Tiny to go in for a very big basket.
One of the few penetrating moves he's been able to make today. 11 points for Tiny. 85-74, and you can hear the crowd with that chant of defense inside. 6 minutes to go in this one. 5 seconds on the shot clock, another steal. Here comes Archibald. Larry Bird, Maxwell, back, and broken up. It'll be off of Philadelphia. They had that ball moving, didn't they?
And there's Bird with the pass to Maxwell. Tried to get the ball back over to Larry Bird, who was wide open, but Julius Erving with those long arms of his or his leg got one or the other on it, knocked it away. So the Celtics in control of this game. Philadelphia in a situation where they have to recover.
Tonight on CBS starts with a brand new edition of 60 Minutes, the CBS News weekly magazine, and then don't miss a special showing of the Dukes of Hazzard in their very first movie, a 2-hour spectacular, as Bo gets conned into taking the General Lee on a suicidal leap for life over 32 cars. And on Alice, someone's in the kitchen with Dinah Shore, and it's the gang from Mel's Diner, and then on the Jeffersons. George puts up his Dukes in a hilarious display of boxing inability. It's all on CBS tonight. Well, the Boston Celtics in a good position, Rick Barry, to even this series up. Chris Ford. And all of a sudden, Ford and Archibald have really contributed offensively.
Yeah, something that they haven't done much of, and you see Henry Bibby now on the bench. Lionel Hollins in the game for Philadelphia. Great defense, this time by the Celtics. They can't get it in bounds. Forced to call a timeout. They're down to 1 now.
1 timeout for Philadelphia as a pressure defense pays off for the Boston Celtics. The Celtics with an 87-74 lead, 5:23 to play. There's the lead by the Boston Celtics. In the second half, they have outscored Philadelphia 33-24.
And there's Fitz Dixon, the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. His emotions have gone up and down. He was a grandfather yesterday when Christopher Widener Dixon was born, and today he is suffering for watching his team losing right now.
Erving, Jones with a follow. Forcing the boards is Bobby Jones.
That's a big play by Philadelphia at this juncture. They could still play tough defense, go down the other end, score a few baskets, and have a chance to get back right into this ball game. Too early for the three-point situation
We're
right now.
just inside 5 minutes remaining in the game. Maxwell, and he's fouled by Caldwell Jones, but again, Archibald is making things happen.
Yes, well, a lot of pressure that time by the Philadelphia defense that enabled Archibald to be able to go on his own. Here he goes, he draws Caldwell to him, the pass off to Maxwell. Caldwell Jones made a good recovery to get back over there, but was not able to stop the play without fouling.
CJ now with 3 personal fouls. Maxwell going to the line. There's Billy C. Well, his team will be back in the Spectrum. And some big games Wednesday and Friday in the Spectrum. And coming back here on a Sunday, well, this series, it's going to be a lot of basketball, you know it, before this series is all over. Maxwell makes it 88-76. Again, another low-scoring game. Neither team getting over 100 points on Friday night.
When you get both teams in playoff competition playing tough defense, this will be the rule rather than the exception.
So Philadelphia trying somehow to get this one back. Bobby Jones in trouble. Boy, you get the ball inside, you're going to get hammered. Dave Cowens looks like he's guilty of fouling. The penalty now in.
That's the mark of a good basketball team, Gary. When you get the ball inside, that the defense collapses, converges inside to the basketball to create a difficult situation for the offensive team, forcing them to kick it outside. You try to make a team beat you with their perimeter game.
In other words, you don't want to be doing that very often. Keep them out of there. You pay for it. 4 fouls now on Dave Cowens. Here's Bobby Jones. He's right at his playoff average. Boy, he played well in that series with Atlanta, coming off the bench, scoring 21 points in 1 game.
He's having a difficult time offensively in this series. However, his defense has been outstanding.
There's Darryl Dawkins with 5 fouls and also a technical assessed against him. 13 points now for Bobby Jones, 88-77. 4.5 minutes remaining in game number 2.
Philly can't get too over-anxious by overextending their defense so that they allow penetration in the middle.
There you saw Hollins on the blind side. Maxwell pushing off. He and Jones, I believe, are going to jump it up. Are they? No. Loose ball foul against Caldwell Jones.
No, it's going to be against the... Yeah, it is on Jones, jumping on his back. It looked like Maxwell had pushed him off. I thought the Cornbread was going to have the foul on him.
That's 4 on Jones. What happened really was he grabbed his arm, and that was what they spotted for the foul. Maxwell's at the line once again. Maxwell shooting 79% from the stripe for the year. Boy, he just came of age last season for this team. His inside play. There's Pistol Pete. He contributed in that first half of play. He's glad to be in some playoff action. He was in one other. I think that's when he played in Atlanta, wasn't it?
Cedric's back to his free throw form of the regular season. He shot 95% from the line against us.
We have 4:17 left in the game. 88-77. Philadelphia needs a basket here. Lionel Hollins going for it. Cheeks brings it down. Good job by Maurice. Cheeks. It just won't go for him. Cowens brings it out of there.
And you notice the doctor has not been involved in the Philadelphia offense. They need to get him involved because he can do so many things. He puts so much pressure on the opposing team's defense.
The doctor was 16 points, but he scored most of those in the first half of play. In fact, he had 12 of those. Here's Archibald. Cheeks on him. Larry Bird. That's what he was doing earlier in the game. 31 points for Larry Bird. 90-77. Jones. Foul by Dave Cowens. Nope, they're going to call it on Bobby Jones.
They will see the play. Cowens running over, getting position. Body contact, the toughest play in the game to call right there. One time it's a block, the next time it's an offensive foul. Now we'll watch Bird. You see him running off. Look at the screen by Cowens. He just knocked off Bobby Jones. Julius did not jump out. That's why Bird was able to get the open jump shot. It was Julius's fault that time for not picking up Bird coming off the screen.
Bobby Jones with 3 fouls. 3:26. You look at Darryl Dawkins, who has checked back into the game. Cheeks with a rebound. Dawkins playing with 5, the doctor, and Tiny Archibald back there to be sure he doesn't shoot the ball. You talk about a mismatch. Look at that.
It was a great pass for a football game. He had the touchdown.
I think the doctor could have been a great wide receiver. Erving at the line. As we mentioned, he scored only 4 points in the second half of play. It's really unusual. In fact, he's only scored 8 points since the first quarter. And I think you pointed out why. They just haven't really gotten him involved in the offense. He really forced his way in a couple of times, just kind of took over, brought Philadelphia back on 2 occasions. Right now, they have a lot of catching up to do. 3:17 left. 90-78. And so Erving very calmly hits them both. Don't forget, second half of our doubleheader meeting from the Coliseum in Seattle. The Sonics against the Bucks for the right to meet the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Final. Archibald, look at the quickness, but we got it to the wrong side. Here comes Hollins. Lionel Hollins. Boy, they needed that one, and Maxwell brings it down again. Maxwell, double figures in the rebounding department.
Well, Philadelphia has had the opportunity to get back into this game, but they have not been able to capitalize on the shots that they've had.
2:37 left in the game.
It's about time for the three-point possibilities for Philadelphia if they expect to get in this game.
Here's Ford working well off the ball, and we have a foul. Hollins hits the deck. Chris Ford colliding with him.
Good defensive move by Hollins that time, anticipating the drive, getting his position, drawing the foul.
That's 5 fouls now on Chris Ford. So Philadelphia with 2:26, trailing by 11. Erving trying to cut it to 9, and it goes in. It's a 9-point game now. Can't be too careful now. They're still with 2:15 left. Philadelphia has a shot at it. They'll take their time.
Philadelphia, of course, not a three-point shooting team, so it's going to be tough for them to use that play effectively.
9 seconds on the shot clock, and Maxwell does it again. Maxwell with 15 points. The unsung hero on this Boston team, and it's never been more evident than today. Erving Caldwell Jones, he kicked it out of bounds.
That's when things are going against you. Doc, in that situation, Gary, took a shot just inside the three-point line. Well, if you're going to take a shot in this situation from that far, he just as well might have shot it from three-point range.
Sometimes I guess you aren't aware where you are on that floor. And the rhythm affecting it maybe if he'd moved back out, but he didn't get it anyway. 92-81, 1:40 left. That's what Chris Ford said. He says you got to shoot those three-pointers in the flow of the game. But right now, you would need it. Here's Archibald, hits the deck. Hollins. Bird is back. Erving, did you see that pass? He rifled the shot, and now it's 92-83. 22 points.
Well, they've got to stop him this time, come down, try to get 3 points. 3-point opportunities could get them back in this game if they can make them. But again, they don't have the outside shooters in right now. Bibby might be coming in, you never know.
Well, the Doctor started to pile the points up again with that 22-point effort. This is Bird. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Maxwell, and he's fouled. He is shaken up a little bit on the play.
Well, watch Larry Bird create this play. Here he comes, moving without the ball well. He catches the pass on the fly, gets a man drawn to him. The Doctor sees a man open underneath. He's got such great vision. There he goes up, fouled by 2 men. Take your choice on that one.
Well, they gave it to Caldwell.
Well, that's why Larry Bird, though, is such a good player. He sees the court, he passes the basketball, he looks for the open man. And any player or youngster who's out there watching can take a lesson from this young man.
The penalty is in. That was the 5th foul on Caldwell Jones. M.L. Carr getting ready to come in for Boston. Well, it looks like it's going to be 1-1 as they head to Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia accomplished what they had to do coming up here. That is to win 1 game. No team had been able to win a game on the other team's home court during the regular season. And Philadelphia did that in the first one. So now they're going back home and they're confident that they can win back there.
Maxwell with 17 points. Tiny Archibald leaves in favor of M.L. Carr, and he got quite an ovation from this crowd. There's a three-pointer by Bibby. Oh, did he hit that one from a long way?
He should get 4 for that one from where he shot it.
94-86, 10 points for Bibby. Well, he had that ball out there. How far?
That was a good 30 feet or more.
Carr. The Cowens are going to sit on a little bit now. 39 seconds left in the game. Ford rejected goaltending. Dawkins with the goaltend.
Again, I was surprised that Billy didn't put Bibby in the game a little bit sooner to try the 3-point opportunities, but a lot of the coaches here really don't use that 3-point situation as much as they could.
Out it comes to Dawkins, 3-pointer by the big guy. They're firing him up from all over now with 19 seconds left. Now we have a foul against Dave Cowens. So there's your time remaining. A 10-point lead for Boston, and Larry Bird is leaving, and he's getting a standing ovation from this Celtic crowd.
Well, he carried him for a good 2.5 quarters before he cooled off in the middle of that 3rd quarter.
All the Boston starters are in double figures in this game, led by this man, Larry Bird, with 31 points. And now coming out is Dave Cowens. And so Bill Fitch getting his regulars out of there. And they'll head on to Philadelphia for a game Wednesday in the Spectrum. 4 substitutions. Gerald Henderson replaces Chris Ford. Ford down the stretch really played well for this Boston team.
Yes, he did. He made some real big plays defensively. Hit a couple of shots. He's a real pesty type of guy. He always seems to be somewhere out there causing problems for the other team.
So with 18 seconds, down to Jeff Judkins, who hit that remarkable 3-pointer that we showed you at halftime on Friday night. Foul by Bibby, and that'll stop the clock with 13 seconds. Again, this reminder, we'll be going out to Seattle for Game 7 between the Sonics and Milwaukee Bucks, the 7th and deciding game. As I'm sure the Lakers are very much interested in who's going to come out of that one.
I'll tell you, after that series is over, it's going to be some battle with Los Angeles and either one of those 2 teams. They're going to have great games in that final out in the West Coast.
Larry Bird with 31 points. What a remarkable effort by the rookie out of Indiana State. Timeout is now called by Philadelphia with 12 seconds left.
rather academic at this juncture. Maybe they needed a radio timeout or something for Philadelphia.
Let's assure him it was not for TV, right? And so Philadelphia will regroup. Billy Cunningham getting a win Friday night, winning the first time this year in the Boston Garden after losing all 3 regular season games. Now you got to go to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia tied with Phoenix for the best home record in the regular season of play. So, but you know, you mentioned earlier that Milwaukee-Seattle series, home court didn't mean a doggone thing, did it?
Well, I really believe that when you get 2 fairly evenly matched teams in playoff competition, especially when you get to the semifinals and finals of each conference, that the home court is really not that big of a factor. Over the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen so many games where the visiting team has been able to win on the opposition's court.
All right, let's look ahead, Rick. Wednesday, 11:30 Eastern. We'll continue our NBA playoff coverage. And then Friday, 11:30 Eastern time, and we'll be keeping you updated on who those teams will be. But the playoffs in the finals by then, both Western and Eastern finals. Of course, we know Los Angeles will be involved. They're waiting on that Seattle-Milwaukee verdict. And we'll be following this Philadelphia-Boston series.
Big factor in the next game coming up could be what's going to happen with Junior Bridgman if he's going to be able to play for Milwaukee.
Well, Philadelphia just used their last timeout with 12 seconds left in this game. Friday night, it was the Sixers winning 96-93, and now it's a 96-88 game. Bobby Jones inbounds it. Cunningham may use this as a lesson here, get a chance to inbounds the ball. Try a tactic, might use it later in the series, huh?
Well, I doubt if the Celtic defense is going to be as tough as it would be if it was a crucial situation, but they'll be playing hard, there's no question about it.
You can see Eric Fernston has checked in, 45 into Dawkins. They'll let him have that one. He almost brought the goal down with it. Now they pressure in the backcourt. Cunningham hasn't given up, but they got it to Judkins, and Judkins will put it away. Erving hits the deck, and he's fouled by M.L. Carr. They're not going to allow that basket because M.L. Carr tripped up Julius Erving away from the ball unintentionally. That stops the clock with 6 seconds. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point lead for Boston, and the Sixers haven't given up on this game.
Well, you can never give up in an NBA game, but right now it's a fairly hopeless situation. The only thing that could happen is that the 76ers would get the ball in bounds. They have to hit a 3-point shot. They have to make a steal, get it back out for another 3-point shot, and they don't have any timeouts left. Now, if that happens, then I've seen everything in this game.
You sound very dubious about that happening.
Well, the only thing the Celtics, as we'll watch the play, we'll see where the foul occurred on this one. A long pass down to Judkins. There he goes in. Now watch M.L. Carr come over to try and screen off Julius, and he throws his backside into him and does commit the foul. It's a good call by Jack Madden.
And so they'll have to bring it the length of the floor to Bibby. They need a 3-pointer. Doctor'd like to try one, but nobody to get the ball to. And that, with 2 seconds, will turn it back to Boston. Good defense that time by the Celtics.
Oh, they're never going to give up, but it was really a hopeless situation. Good smart play there. Throw it down the other end. The game's over.
And Erving tries to get it to Jones, and the Boston Celtics have now even up this series. Larry Bird, 31 points, 12 rebounds, and it was Larry Bird who early in the game got the Boston Celtics rolling very well. And with this win now, even at 1-1 as they have the 7-game series, resuming Wednesday in Philadelphia and Friday before returning here a week from today in the Boston Garden.